Hey, so I'm here right now in my patio and just want to kind of make a video to go off of my previous video. And um, basically, now that I became an atheist, there has been more problems now in my life and more things I think about, like what happens after death, right? And actually, for the past like 2 months now, I've been fighting with this like existential dread of not existing, right? Because you got to remember, if you're an atheist, there's no soul, right? So you're literally just you're literally just electrons in the brain cell, right? So that's what you got to accept, right? So now it's like basically when you die, your life has no meaning. That's also something you have to accept. And now my thing is I have to find a purpose, right? So before it's just like I live a good life and I follow Christ and I go to heaven and I live eternally, right? That was my life path before. But now it's, does anything matter? Is the question. You know, you got to think. Billions of years before you, billions of years after you, billions of people on this earth, no original experiences probably. You're going to be forgotten about. I mean, eventually, right? If your life just goes on, right? And that's kind of what I've been fighting with for the past 2 months, and I've came to a lot of answers actually. One answer I came to is one reason we want to live forever is just ego, right? And that's actually one of the main reasons I became an atheist. Like I said in the previous video, is that I believe it's an egotistical thing. I believe it's very egotistical to want to live forever, right? But when I was arguing about, and then this thing will kind of tie into the next thing, is when I'm arguing about like, before I had one argument for Christianity. It was, let's just say you were a mass murderer and you had amnesia and you became like a high priest or whatever, right? Or you were the same thing, you were very holy and then you got amnesia and became a mass murderer, right? Where does that soul end up? Does it go to heaven or hell, right? Hard to say, right? I don't think there's an easy answer. And that's my point. It's about memories, right? So now we're going to talk about memories. And here's kind of what's given me peace with this existential dread. And maybe some people can maybe talk to me and give me their thoughts on what's giving them peace with the same problem I'm having. But this is like a band-aid because I'm not fully happy with it, but I like it for now. And here's my thing. I don't think immortality can ever be achieved. So that's basically, by immortality not being able to be achieved, I'm able to cope with dying, is what I'm saying, right? Sounds very egotistical, right? Which is all this is about. But here's my point, right? Let's just say you truly accomplish immortality, right? You would regenerate and you also live on forever. And let's just assume the sun doesn't blow up, whatever, right? All that nonsense. You live on forever, but think about who you were even 10 years ago, right? You're such a different person, right? Your taste, the stuff that makes you laugh, you know what I mean? The kind of movies you're into, they're probably so different from when 10 years ago. If you're older than me, a lot older than me, think 30 years ago, right? You change so much within decades, right? Now imagine centuries or millenniums of just changing. You're a different person, and this is tying back to the amnesia thing, right? Like, you're constantly evolving. Like, you might not even like yourself 10 years from now. Like, if you knew who you were 10 years from now, you might not even like that person for all you know. Or vice versa. You might even hate the person you were in the past, right? Or maybe you love the person, maybe, who knows, right? What I'm saying is, it's change can happen, and it most likely will happen in years, right? So even in true immortality, yourself at the time that you achieve immortality is never truly immortal, right? So that's my argument for that. And that's making me cope a lot. So what I'm saying now is the person right now who's very egotistical and wants to live forever, right? And has came to terms that he's not going to live forever, right? That person is dead, even if I live millions of years, because let's just say after 100,000 years, I don't think the person who I am at that time, if it exists, that hypothetical person won't even recognize my thoughts right now. It's inconceivable. Like, what are these little teeny tiny brain thoughts that you're having right now? It's going to be so small to what he's thinking at that current time that it's not even me anymore, right? That's what I'm saying. So it's like, And it makes sense, because if the soul doesn't exist, is what I'm saying, right? If the soul doesn't exist, we are merely just this imagery of what we conjure up in our head. We create this character in our head, and that's who we are. And that character changes over time with new experiences, and and that's been my band-aid. In conclusion, right? That's been my band-aid to not living forever. Maybe I don't know. Right now, I'm happy with that answer. I actually think one of the reasons I made this YouTube video, I'm just talking to myself here, and I don't care if people watch it or not, but one of the reasons I made these videos are to achieve this pseudo form of immortality, right? And I could arguably say that these videos are more immortal than if I were to live on forever, because the person I am in these videos will never change, because there's only one beginning and end of the video, right? But the person I am in the physical reality world is going to change, right? So in an ironic sense, these videos are more immortal versions of me than even if I were to achieve true immortality, right? So that's been like this cope band-aid for this existential crisis. I don't know how long it'll keep me happy for, or maybe it keeps me happy forever, but maybe you guys have better answers. I don't know. Let me know.